Have you ever seen a concept so completely ridiculous that it loops around in your brain back to being the best thing ever? On a completely unrelated note, the entire Cookie Run franchise. Look at these designs. Look at them. This is the ideal small package. Can you tell me what food this cookie might be based on? Can you? This is literal design at its absolute finest, and it drives my designer brain crazy. To design a majority of the cookies in Cookie Run, you need two things. A food, or at the very least, the barest concept of something that could potentially pass as edible, and a Halloween costume. Take this guy. Madeline Cookie's design is so funny to me from an artistic standpoint. Look at him. Can you tell he's a tank? He's a big, stupid white knight with more sword than body. I feel like his design process was just a game of how many actual Madelines they could just stick on him. His shield, his crown, he has a Madeline loincloth. His hair clips are Madelines. The hilt of his sword is a Madeline. His splash art gives him 3 more Madelines. That is 9 Madelines on this one cookie. It is so over the top. The ideal Cookie Run design to me are exactly these kinds of cookies. Cotton cookie, almond cookie, black lemonade cookie, fettuccine cookie, black forest cookie. All 10 out of 10 for me. All so obvious it is almost painful. Cookie Run characters have very little space to work with and will almost always appear quite small on your screen, which means making strong designs with big shapes and bright colors is a priority. You need to be able to spot them from the sky and have them be interesting enough that a player can get irrationally attached and spend a few hours grinding out gemstones to try and pull them from the gacha. Speaking of the gacha, a large part of whatever goes into a cookie's design is how rare they are to pull from it. Cookies come in common, rare, epic, super epic, dragon, legendary, ancient, and beast. I promise that makes sense in context. Mostly. I still don't get the dragon thing. Each tier has their own design conventions. At the bottom, most of the common and rare cookies have been the same cookies since launch, which is a bit of a shame to me because I really would like some spice in my life after pulling Carrot Cookie for the 40th time. These cookies are pretty visibly off. The Cookie Run oven break style is a little different from what they ended up using for Kingdom, but at the start they hadn't really established their own identity away from it, so the old cookies end up looking a little uncanny. For an example, here's Cherry Cookie next to Parfait Cookie. It's just something in her eyes. A lot of these designs are a bit more simple in comparison to what we're working up to, which for a much more common tier makes sense. There are definitely some standouts. Pancake Cookie is adorable, and I love how they made him a little flying squirrel using the pancake on his back. It makes sense, and it's a really cute use of the concept. Clover Cookie is also a personal favorite out of the rare cookies with his little hat and his beat mouse. I want this mouse. Adventurer Cookie is one of my least favorites in this batch. I'm gonna file him and those like him under just kind of boring. Not because he's a bad design by any measure, but just comparatively to the rest of them, he comes off a little flat. These kinds of cookies are when a cookie's just kind of a thing without really leaning into the whole dessert aesthetic. For contrast, here's Alchemist Cookie. She's themed after grapes, her brother's themed after wine, but they both have the costume titles of alchemist and vampire. Adventurer Cookie is just a guy. That's just a man. Imagine living in this world of dessert-based splendor, and your job is guy. Epic cookies are essentially the standard cookie now. Their designs vary heavily, but tend to have a good balance of detail and concept. They can be pretty hit or miss. Some of my favorites are in here. Agar Agar Cookie, Candy Apple Cookie, Mozzarella Cookie, and of course, the best cookie of all time, Sorbet Shark Cookie. Argue with me in my comments section. But there are also some that I think would fit better in rare, like Tiger Lily, Kumiho, or Werewolf Cookie. I believe these were earlier releases when they were still figuring out detail. But of the 158 playable cookies in the game, 95 are epic, so it's a pretty broad category. Instead of food, the legendary cookies are elemental. Water, ice, lightning, fire, wind, the moon, and pearls. Obviously. They fit the literal design thing very well. Take Sea Fairy's hair, or the fact that Black Pearl is just a straight-up mermaid. You get what element this is without me having to tell you. It practically beats you over the head. Personally, I'm afraid of Fire Spirit. He looks like he would try to sell me his CD in a parking lot. I mean, so does Stormbringer, but her music looks like it'd actually be good. So, side note, there's actually a strange amount of musician cookies. Speed round. Macaron, Rockstar, Carol, Shining Glitter, Clover, Creme Brulee, Red Osmanthus, Mint Choco, Parfait, Black Lemonade, all of BTS, plus Fig and Peppermint if you count just kind of blowing horns. I don't have some thesis about this. I just want a Cookie Run Kingdom battle of the bands. One thing they do to keep groups of designs coherent is giving them a kingdom to belong to. These 5 are the ancient cookies. There was clearly a lot of thought in making them all unique. On a technical level, they're all very impressive. They've got their own motifs and very different silhouettes. If I do this and block them out, you can still identify who is who very easily, which is really interesting considering there are basically 3 body types and they're normal, buff, and short. The aesthetics each of them establish expands to the entire cookie world. Look at Golden Cheese Cookie with the residents of her kingdom and their sort of Egyptian cheese thing that they've got going on. Or Dark Cacao Cookie and his Cookies and Cream Dream Team. They do a very similar thing with the beasts and their minions. From a game design standpoint, giving the cookies categories creates the collector's urge to have the whole set. I know it is happening, but I am fooled. I need to get my little shark cookie tropical friends, man. Making these designs readable even from a glance is very important. You should be able to sort of tell who they are, if they belong to any group, what their whole deal is, just from a glance. Look at the amazing and ridiculously designed licorice cookie. Can you tell he might be a little bit evil? Can you? Is it the giant scythe, the Grim Reaper cloak, or the literal ring of skulls around his neck? Cookies are flat. Where did he get those? Sometimes it can get absurd. What is a shining glitter cookie? This one's just Hatsune Miku. Aliens are canon and they are donuts. The beasts are sugar, spice, flour, salt, and shadow milk? Nothing against him, but if anyone has any idea what shadow milk tastes like, please tell me. Design as literal and on the nose as this is not the end all. Subtlety is, frankly, nice sometimes. This video is not saying that you should do this. Your crime drama doesn't need a character made out of knives. A character design should, usually, in my opinion, be somewhere between an isekai protagonist and pinecone cookie. There is no end-all be-all with character design. Different stories and mediums have different needs, but damn if they didn't commit to the concept. So maybe you should make Marty McKnife Guy a part of your reality. I wonder what kind of flavor of cookie he'd be.